The fourth phase of the FERRAO legacy, my life. Continuing with the FERRAO legacy, when I was born, India had just gained independence from colonial British rule. It was the time of a great exodus period as partition between India and Pakistan had begun. It was a chaotic yet historic time at the capital. In Delhi, Muslims were in hiding, and in Lahore, Hindus were in hiding. Diseases began and spread. We, as children, were unaware of the situation. My mother was brave enough to provide us with the right inoculation at the time and kept us safe from all diseases. My mother saved many Muslims and gave them food and clothing. I have still to see a more hard-working person than my mother in my life. At one point in Delhi, we visited Goa as a family, and I was about 4 years old. In Goa, I remember grandmother feeding baby and myself with rice and curry fish, and later dessert known as boleen. The entire family of that generation was full of fun and enjoyment. That is, all my dad's siblings. That is the only time I saw my paternal grandparents, uncles and aunts, all together, having a great time with guitar, music, and good food. It seemed something like the beginning of the great Godfather Part 1 movie, minus the crime plot. That generation was enthusiastic and warm, with all the family members. Each sibling cared for the other. Back in Delhi, we had a family dog named Flossie who was very friendly with all. However, on one occasion at the age of 4, I was helping feed Flossie with a bone that went astray. She reacted quickly with a bite at my hand, as she thought I was stealing her bone. My mother got me those tetanus shots that helped me to heal. The spaniel lived a long doggy life and had to be put away. Bernard and I took Flossie to a nearby SPCA and left her there. She seemed very sad, and when we left, so were we. I went to Presentation Convent School beginning with kindergarten. I remember all the new children began crying coming to class the first time as their parents left them. The teacher cited me as an example to others. See, Dom is not crying. Why do you cry? I also remember my mom, while getting me ready for school the first day, told me the following as she found me cute. Tell your teacher, please. Teacher, miss, please give me a kiss. Even at that time, I knew I was not real to say that. The school was co-education up to the first grade. At the age of 6, I was sent to T. Grand in Bombay for adoption. I still recall being ill-treated at that age. My mother had her sources to report to her in Delhi about the issue, and she found out the truth and brought me back to the fold in Delhi. Later on, I was sent to Uncle Louis for adoption in Goa. However, I did not stay long there for reasons unknown to me. I was sent back to the fold for good. Those are my traumatic experiences as a child. I joined my brothers at St. Peter's College boarding school in Agra. I always had the feeling that if you had the experience of boarding school, you would mature quickly than others in life. I proved to be a good student at St. Peter's and got a double promotion. That is, from grade 2, I was sent straight to grade 4 as they found me too good for grade 3. Somehow in grade 4, I became the teacher's favorite, and I do not know why. Miss Sheila Dua would give me money to buy snacks for myself every now and then, fully aware of the life of a boarder, and regarded me as the best student she had. In boarding school, we observed strict orders with whatever we did. My mother cared for us as she came to Agra several times from Delhi bringing cookies and homemade parathas and pickle for the 3 boys. I did make some friends at St. Peter's. We would crave to go out on field trips. One boy, Pankaj Srivastavas, and his family celebrated his birthday and invited our entire class for a party at their house. We were excited. The food served was rich and very tasty, unlike boarding school food. One day in 1959, I got very sick with typhoid and was sent back home. I rested in Delhi, and all the neighbors came with gifts to cheer me up. When I healed, I joined a new Jesuit school, St. Xavier's. I excelled here as I entered a play and acted as rector of a boys' school and did my part well. Father John Bees found talent in me. However, what stood out was the elocution contest. At the final contest, I proclaimed Mark Antony's speech on Julius Caesar. It was a heart-rending speech that I was rewarded for. My hobby was swimming, playing cricket, hockey, and athletics, and I wrote songs. I had a songbook all handwritten with about 450 songs. My favorite singers were Elvis Presley, Jim Reeves, Pat Boone, and Connie Francis. Later in the eighth grade, due to a teacher showing jealousy over another teacher who helped me tremendously with my home task, I got low marks on purpose by the jealous teacher that made me leave St. Xavier's to join Delhi United Christian School. Here I made a lot of friends and graduated with flying colors, especially in math and English. My best friend was Franklin Young. I also have good friends in Michael Dias, who is a retired lawyer in Delhi, and Lawrence Samois, a retired banker in Toronto. I completed some courses in accounting and received my bachelor's through correspondence courses. My favorite teacher was Tudor Morgan, a Welsh, who was a very dedicated math teacher. Since then, I got a good job as accountant cashier in an institution. I had to take care of a staff of 100 employees by myself with one assistant. I walked to and from my place of work instead of taking a bus. It took me 20 minutes, but it was worth it. I then bought a fancy bike as my form of commute. During this time, my father retired and worked part time for a year in Delhi and finally grew tired. He and Mum then went to our ancestral home in Goa for good. They renovated the entire house in Goa for the future generations to enjoy. All my siblings also left Delhi and went with my parents to enjoy the fruits of our ancestral home. I stayed back in Delhi and braved myself to become a stronger and gutsy person on my own, unlike all my siblings who craved the ancestral home for free food and accommodation. I paid all my rent on time in Delhi. I encountered some good and bad experiences, but overcame them all. Although I had a great job, I also tutored three sisters from Model Town in math and English, going to the same school as second job. Their wealthy family was very good to me and offered me decent money and great food as payment for the tuition. The mother, a Sikh, made me her brother. They admired me for my teaching skills. Years later, I discovered the three girls who made their way to the US in California, as they called and spoke to me. They are now married and happy with their lives. The youngest brother and father still run the business in Delhi in Model Town. I could confidently say that I was a much sought after kind bachelor during that time in Delhi. I sent monetary gift for each of my siblings' children, that is, all my nieces and nephews, both during summer holidays and Christmas time each year while I was in Delhi. All of my siblings were grateful to me at the time. However, times have changed now as the children have grown. Good works may have been forgotten, I believe. Due to my profession, I was elected treasurer of the Catholic Association in Delhi, Archdiocese of Delhi, Goan Sports Club, St. Vincent de Paul, and Marriage Encounter. Many friends regarded me immensely as the guy to take care of money. I made many friends and acquaintances who invited me to their home for dinner. I obliged, though nothing else. I was somehow a bit of an introvert and was not too keen on a deep relationship with a girl of my age at the time. I was careful when making friends after I discovered that a person wanted to be friends with me in order to share my apartment for good. I managed to get around in an amicable manner. I remembered my father's advice to keep good relation with neighbors, as in difficulty they are the first ones to help. I paid cash to have dinner with a Mrs. Correa, who was a lonely widow. Somehow the food was not good enough for me, so I parted ways. I paid her 3 months extra money to make her happy. Then Mr. Ramnath Anand invited me to their house for dinner each day for a while. They are vegetarians and would not take any money from me, as he was my father's former colleague. Finally, I decided to leave them too and cooked my own meals. This is how I learned to make chapatis, puris, and paranthas, dal, okra, my favorite vegetable dish, and other meals. In the St. Mary's parish, I joined a club to play badminton in the evenings, which was also my hobby. I did have many friends in Delhi, and they invited me on several occasions to their house for food. Thank you. End of phase 4.